Hello and welcome back to Math Concepts. We are going to continue our discussion of probability. In this video we are going to look at something called conditional probability. And the key word that you can look for in a problem to let you know that the ideas about conditional probability would apply is the word given. Okay, we're going to look for the probability of event A given that event B has already happened. And what that in effect does is it changes our sample space from what it might ordinarily be. So let's switch over to the document camera and look at examples of conditional probability. Alright, so key idea for this video is be able to apply conditional probability. And here we're going to look at situations using tables. In other words, we're going to be looking at empirical probability. And I would just note here that conditional probability has the effect of changing the sample space from what it ordinarily would be. And you should look for the word given to indicate that we should use conditional probability. Okay, so let's look at this first example here. So I'm going to refer to the table on page 743 of our textbook. We want to find the probability that a randomly selected person prefers the Xbox One given they are between 13 and 18. Okay, so let's switch over and look at our table here. Alright, so here's our table, our survey. Okay, now ordinarily to find the size of my sample space I would have to add up every single entry in this table. However, in the problem that we're looking at, we're saying we want to know the probability that a person prefers the Xbox One given they are between 13 and 18. So we're looking at this row exclusively. This is the row of 13 to 18-year-olds. So what I would do to get the size of my sample space is I would add up the entries in this row. Alright, so I would clear that out, I would take 105 plus 39, plus 139, plus 92, plus 113. And that's the size of my sample space, 449 people. Now, for the numerator, we wanted the probability that they prefer the Xbox One. So those 139 people are the 18 or the 13 to 18-year-olds that prefer the Xbox One. So that's 139 over 449. And we could use our calculator to do an approximation. So that is approximately 0.3096. Okay, let's do another one here, referring to the same table. Find the probability that a randomly selected person is under 12 given they prefer the PS4. Alright? So now we know we are restricting our attention to the people that prefer the PS4. So for this problem, this last column is our sample space. Okay, so I would take my 51 plus 113 plus 169 plus 136. So I get a sample space of 469 people. So given they prefer the PS4 means we're focusing on those 469 people. We want under 12 given that we are in this row. So that's 51 out of 469. So 0.109, and that is to the nearest thousandth, to the nearest thousandth. Okay, so remember, when we're dealing with this conditional probability, we're changing our sample space. In these survey problems, ordinarily the sample space is every single element added up. When you see the word given, it means we should restrict our attention to a certain row or column. Given that the person prefers the PS4, we're focusing exclusively on the last column. Given that the person is 13 to 18, we're focusing exclusively on this row. So conditional probability means we're changing the sample space.